Welcome back, I hope you're all well. So as you can tell from the title, today we're going to talk about a topic that's a little bit different, and I feel like this is going to be one of those videos which is like a thing for me. Like, why do I do this all the time? But it's going to be one of those videos that I think is going to split some opinions. I don't think everyone's going to agree with me on this. I hope I'm going to get my point across the right way, because, you know, me being German, like sometimes I don't translate things properly how they're like in my brain in German, but I'm gonna try my hardest. And I feel like this is a subject that not enough people talk about, so I just wanted to talk about it today. And at first I was gonna do like a really like relaxed kind of chit chat video, but I did decide to break it up into 5 points. Y'all know my favorite number is 5. I always do everything 5, just to make it a little easier and to ramble a little less. So I guess I just like broke it up into like 5 key points that I want to talk about today. But yeah, I also wanted to say that I'm not talking about any influencers specifically. I'm not attacking anyone. I'm not trying to say anything bad about influencers. Obviously, I am on YouTube. I also do have a tiny following on Instagram. But again, this is just something that I've noticed over the years, and it's just something that I want to talk about. I would love to hear your guys' opinion if you're an influencer yourself, or even if you're not, just like let me know your opinion on this and how you feel about this. So without further ado, let's go ahead and jump right into it. So if you are someone that watches, you know, some of your favorite influencers, especially like luxury ones, and I'm talking about like the bigger ones, you know, the fashion influencers, and you're like, man, why don't I have 50 designer bags? Or man, why don't I have 200 pairs of designer shoes? Or why can't I afford to buy like the next it bag all the time? I think you're not alone. I think there are a lot of people that feel this way, and why I wanted to do this video is because I personally know of, like, even my close friends, like I know of people that kind of feel bad about themselves and their life, even though they have an amazing life, just because they compare themselves to what they see on social media. And I know people have talked about this a little more recently, but I just feel like it's not talked about enough. And you have to remember that like what you see on social media, regardless of if it's YouTube or if it's Instagram, like people, most of them anyways, only want you to see like the best of their day and like, you know what I mean? Like the best of their life and not like the bad parts. And trust me, everybody has bad parts. But anyways, this is like a big reason why I wanted to do this video. So let's start off with my first point, which is that it is unrealistic for the normal person, for like the everyday person, unless you're extremely rich or your parents are like super rich. It is very unlikely that you're gonna be able to afford, you know, a new designer bag every other month, or that you are going to buy new clothes every other week, like in bulks, like big amounts, like we see these people do in these hauls. And I do hauls a lot, and I unbox things here on my YouTube channel, but I'm just talking about the excessive buying, like just showing new things all the time. It is not something that the everyday normal person does all the time, and that's okay. Number one, it is probably not that great for the environment to constantly be buying new things like all the time. Also, like, do you really love the things that you're buying all the time? Because you're just like buying things all the time, you know what I mean? But my whole point is that it's very unrealistic, and the everyday person cannot afford to do that. So definitely don't feel bad about that, because it's not normal. Number two, I think what a lot of people don't see, and especially I used to be really naive to this years and years ago before I started my own YouTube channel, like I had no clue. But do you know how many hauls you watch where the items have been gifted to the influencer? Now, there's nothing wrong with that, but there is a difference if you spend your own money on something or if it's gifted to you, okay? So if we're sitting here and we're watching these hauls and we're watching, you know, or we're on Instagram and we see our favorite influencers with like a new outfit like every other day, like something we've not seen them in before, chances are that a lot of the stuff they're wearing and showing is gifted, which means they didn't have to pay anything for it. Number three, This is another one that I think is really important for people to know. And I'm not saying everyone does this, but I do know that there are people that do this. This is something that would never work for me personally, and it's okay if other people want to do that. Like, there's nothing wrong with it. But I think for us as the viewer, like, it's something that we should know. So let's say you're watching someone. I'm not talking about anybody specific here. You know, I'm just like talking. But if, let's say we're watching someone and they're constantly showing us like a new designer bag or a new pair of designer shoes. A lot of people, they'll buy things to unbox them and then return them. It's a thing. I know, like, a lot of you are probably like, what? People do that? But yeah, like, it's a thing. And there's nothing wrong with it. But again, if we're sitting here watching these people and we're like, man, she's unboxing another bag, like, how can she afford all these bags? Like, I'm working so hard and I can't afford to, you know, purchase a new bag every other week. Like, you know, some people buy things and then return them. So again, very unrealistic. Moving on to number 4, which in my opinion is probably the most important point of this video. If you're gonna take anything away from this, or if you're gonna like take anything to heart in this video, I think this point should be it. So let's see, I wanna explain this the right way. So for a normal consumer like you and I, if we buy, let's take, okay, I got this standing right here. Let's take this Prada bag. Okay, this is a really popular, trendy Prada bag. A lot of people have it. It's like one of the it bags, you know what I mean? So someone that's like a normal person, like I might look at this bag, it's close, I think it was like close to $2,000, I can't remember how much I paid for it, but I look at this bag when I was buying it and I was like, oh, I really love this style. Like, this is so me. I know I will like this bag, but will it fit my everyday situation? Like, am I gonna wear this bag a lot? Is it gonna mesh well with my existing wardrobe? Is it a good investment for me to spend $2,000 right now on, you know, this bag? Is it a bag that it's gonna fit my everyday lifestyle? Am I gonna be able to fit things into it? Like, you know what I mean? Like, there's a lot of thought process that goes into me spending $2,000 on a bag. Now, another good example is, like, let's talk about the little miniature bags. And you guys that have been here for a while, you know how much I hate mini bags. But okay, let's look at the little miniature bags. They're super popular. We see them all over Instagram. Like, every single one and their mother has one of these, right? Now, the normal person is probably not gonna go out and look at a bag that is about this big, that can't even fit a quarter into it, that's $500 or more. Maybe it's a little less, but it's around that price. And look at it and say, oh man, this would be a great addition to my wardrobe. This is a great bag. I will use this so much. I'll get a lot of use out of it because I can fit things into it, or whatever. Like, you can't. It's a bag that, you know what I mean? Like, it's really useless. And like, the everyday person is not just gonna dish out $500 for a bag that they can barely use and that's just gonna stand in their wardrobe. Now, if you are an influencer, your thought process is going to be a lot different, okay? Because they're gonna see that little bag and they're not gonna think like, oh man, this can't fit anything into it. Like, am I gonna get a lot of use out of it? No, but they're gonna think, man, this is really Instagrammable. Like, this bag will be great for an Instagram shoot. Like, it will look great in my next 10 Instagram pictures. Or this bag is gonna be great for a YouTube unboxing because, like, people are gonna be shocked. Why did I buy this little bag? You know what I mean? So it's a lot, I think it's the thought process into purchasing something is gonna be a lot shorter than like the everyday person like me and you. I really hope that this made sense, but just keep in mind that, like, just because, I don't know, something works for an influencer or because it's Instagrammable, it might not be like practical for the everyday person. And this is like one good thing as to why your closet might never look like an influencer's closet, you know what I mean? And last but certainly not least, this is another one that I find really important. A lot of the stuff we see on social media, in fashion especially, is planned and is marketing and is basically just being created for for us to buy things. So if we see 10 of our favorite influencers all talking about the same item around the same time, all unboxing the same stuff, chances are it was gifted to them or they were paid to talk about it, if that makes sense. And I think that's like there's nothing wrong with marketing, but like, let's do it a little different. You know what I mean? Like, this is so obvious, like, in our faces. I don't know, I'm really not a fan of that, and I've talked about that in the past. It really turns me off to even buying that particular item. And it's something that has happened a lot, especially with luxury fashion. Like, to me, if I buy something luxurious, it is exactly that. It's like a luxury item. I treat myself to that. I save hard to buy that. I feel good about buying that. It's not something I'm just like, oh yeah, whatever, I'm gonna spend $2,000. You know what I mean? And I'm not saying that people that get things gifted to them or people that get vouchers and stuff like that don't share their honest opinion, but I do think that you look at that product a little different than you would if you would have spent your own money on it, if that makes sense. So my point of number 5 is that just because like 10 people all unbox the same thing and now you're sitting here and you might feel bad, like how, you know what I mean? Like, it's just not, again, it's just not realistic. And so I just feel really passionate about just with, especially like in the world we live in today where it's like buying things like all the time. And especially because I am in like the luxury niche, like I just don't want people to think that that's normal, that like buying new bags all the time, buying new shoes all the time, and like spending all this money. And I used to do that like years ago. Like, I would spend so much money on new clothes and new bags and new shoes, like all the time. Like, I'm talking thousands of dollars a month. And a lot of it was because like I was like really into YouTube. I was watching a lot of YouTube and I would see all these people buying all these. I'm like, oh man, like 10 people really love this bag and whatever, they just got it, so I need to have it too. But reality of it was that, you know, they got it gifted and they might have not even bought it with their own money, and maybe they just wanted it because it's Instagrammable or whatever, and at the end of the day, it probably wasn't the right bag for me, if you know what I mean. So yeah, that is it for today's video. I really hope that this made sense. Like, all I'm trying to say here is that you should not feel bad about yourself just because you can't spend thousands and thousands of dollars on luxury items every month. It is not normal, trust me, and I'm sure your life is absolutely perfect. Like, don't compare yourself to people on social media. Again, I hope you really found this video helpful. I would love to hear you guys' opinion on this. Give this video a thumbs up if you liked it, and I will see you guys in my next one. Bye.